Thank you very much for attending this second lecture of our sixth course in the distance learning program of IRTI. Today we have the second lecture entitled Maqasid al-Sharia and their implications for economics. It will be delivered by Dr. Omar Shapra. And let me introduce to you Dr. Omar Shapra. He is one of the pioneers in the Islamic economic and Islamic banking and finance area. As a Saudi citizen, has been serving a research advisor at the Islamic Research and Training Institute at IRTI Amin since 1999. He was working with the Saudi Monetary Fund Agency for more than 35 years. He taught in the United States of America, in Wisconsin University and Kentucky, and also he worked in Pakistan at the Institute of Development Economics and the Islamic Research Institute. He received the MBA M-Commerce degree from the University of Karachi in 1956 and the doctor's degree summa cum laude in economics in 1961 from the University of Minnesota, Minneapolis. He thus combines an excellent academic background with long practical experience. He made seminal contribution to the Islamic economics and finance over more than 30 decades in the form of books and monographs, like for example 13 of them, and 81 papers and books. Some of his books and papers have been translated into several languages. He also lectured widely on various aspects of Islam and Islamic economics and Islamic finance at a number of institutions in different countries. He is on the advisory and review committees of a number of research and educational institutions and academics journals. He also served as a member of the technical committee of the Islamic Financial Services Board. He has received a number of awards, including the IDB Award for Islamic Economics and the prestigious King Faisal International Award for Islamic Studies, both in 1989, and the Institute of Overseas Pakistan's Award for Service to Islam in 1995. So let me introduce Dr. Shapra to start his lecture. Thank you very much. Salam.
So how we bring this? How we bring this?
You would like to review the presentation?
Yeah.
I think you have to please here. Did you start? Oh, it's okay. Yes.
Yeah, okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. You see, the vision reflects the dream of a country. It shows where a country wants to go in the long run. Dreams may never be realized really, but they give us a direction in which we want to move. A country which does not have a dream or a vision may be moving in several different directions and wasting a lot of its time. So dream is extremely important for the development of a country, and Islam also has its own dream. The most important thing in the vision of Islam is what the Quran says about the Prophet ﷺ, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have sent you as a blessing for mankind. So in other words, the dream of Islam with respect to Muslims is to be a blessing for mankind. The word used in this ayah of the Quran is lil alamin, rahmatan lil alamin, because the word alamin has been translated in different ways in the books of tafsir, and the most the widest use of the term is everything created by God. In other words, everything other than God Himself is included in the word Alameen. But we are not going to use it in that extensive sense. I have therefore translated it as mankind, to be a blessing for mankind. And this is, of course, the reflection of the concept of human brotherhood that Islam represents. In other words, it has to be blessing for everyone and not just Muslims. And how do we become a blessing for mankind? This is, of course, a very important question, and the answer is by promoting the well-being of all people. Now, when I say all people, it means really all people, not just Muslims, but also non-Muslims, not just males, but also females, not just adults, but also children. In other words, everyone. We are expected to promote the well-being of all people and thus be a blessing for mankind. This is very much reflected in a number of Quranic ayahs and also ahadith. One of the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, Al-Khalqu Ayalullah. Mankind is the family of God. Khalq, of course, can also be very widely used, including animals, birds, and insects and everything. But Al-Khalqu Ayalullah, mankind is the family of God. فَأَحَبَّ الْخَلْقُ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ إِلَىٰ أَيَالِهِ. And the most beloved of mankind before God is one who is the best to his family. And irhamu man fil ardi yarhamukum man fis samai. Have mercy on those on earth, and the one who is in the skies will have mercy on you. So this is the message of Islam. In other words, to promote the well-being of all. And the word used in the Quran and Hadith and other places for well-being is falah. And the muazzin calls the Muslims 5 times a day, saying hayya alal falah, come for falah or well-being. And the word falah, along with its derivatives, has been used 40 times in the Quran. And another word, fawz, which is synonymous with falah, has been used with its derivatives 29 times. So this indicates the importance of falah in Islamic teachings. The question that you may ask here is, isn't this the goal of all societies? Yes, this is true. It is the goal of all societies. And the reason this is the way is that all societies around the world have received messengers of God. According to Islam, God has sent His messengers to all people at different times in history. And the Quran says, وَلَكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ. Every nation has had its guide or messenger. So this reflects the universality of the message of Islam, that it is for all people, and God has sent His messengers to all of mankind. And this is why the Quran says, مَا يُقَالُ لَكَ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ قِيلَ لِلرُّسُولِ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. Whatever is being said to you, nothing is being said to you which was not said to messengers before you. So that's why there is a similarity in the messages of all the messengers of God. In other societies, some of the message has been lost, some of it has been distorted, and some of it still remains. And whatever still remains is what brings a great deal of similarity between the worldviews of different societies. But however, Now the position has considerably changed because of these distortions introduced in the other faiths, and also because of the Enlightenment movement in the 18th and 19th centuries. The vision as well as the strategy of other nations and also of Muslims has changed. What emphasis is more on maximizing wealth and want satisfaction. Other needs have been pushed into the background. So Islam does not downgrade wealth. It does not ask us not to maximize wealth, but also it tries to create a balance between all human needs. And this word has used very often in the Quran, وَوَدَعَ الْمِيزَانِ. Al-Mizan, and the Quran says, أَنْ لَا تَتْقَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ. Do not exceed in this balance. So that we have to maintain a balance between all the different needs of human society, and wealth is and material benefits are only one of the needs of human society and not the only one. So we move here to the other this Maqasid al-Sharia. How are we going to realize well-being? This is within the Islamic framework, which wants to create a balanced view of all human needs and to give a comprehensive picture of well-being. This is the job of the Maqasid al-Sharia. Objectives of the Sharia. According to Imam Ghazali, in his book Al-Mustasfa, Maqsood al-Shar'i min al-Khalqi khamsa. That is, the objective of Sharia for human beings or for mankind is five. There are five objectives of the Sharia with respect to mankind. وَهُوَ أَنْ يَحْفَظَ عَلَيْهِمْ دِينَهُمْ وَنَفْسَهُمْ وَأَقْلَهُمْ وَنَسْلَهُمْ وَمَالَهُمْ. And that is to safeguard for them their faith, their own self, their intellect, their posterity, and their wealth. So these are the five objectives of the Sharia. فَكُلُّ مَا يَتَضَمَّنُ حِفْظَ هَذِهِ الْأُصُولَ الْخَمْسَةِ فَهُوَ مَصْلَحَةٌ. Whatever ensures the safeguard of these five needs of mankind, this is maslahah, and whatever destroys, whatever hurts them is mafsada, wa daf'uha masada, and removing. So whatever ensures the safeguard of these five is maslahah, and has to be we have to strive for it, and whatever hurts them is mafsada, and we have the removal of this mafsada is maslahah, that is, it serves our interest. So these are the five objectives of the Sharia according to Imam Ghazali. And Imam Shatibi, writing 300 years after Ghazali, put his stamp of approval on these five maqasid of Sharia. And even before that, 100 years after Ghazali, Imam Razi also put his stamp of approval on these five maqasid. You may wish to have some clarifications about these five maqasid. One of the first questions you may ask is, are these the only maqasid? Certainly not. There are a large number of other objectives of the Sharia, and what we may do, therefore, is to call these five as maqasid al-asliya, or the principal maqasid. I mean, in other words, we can put all the maqasid in five categories, and call these 5 as principles, and the others will be their corollaries. These corollaries are extremely important because as a fiqhi principle states, "Ma la yatimmul wajibu illa bihi fahuwa wajibun." Whatever something without which an obligation cannot be fulfilled is also an obligation. So these other corollaries also become obligatory because without them these 5 cannot be realized. So, but are we bound by the sequence given by Al-Ghazali? No, the answer here is also no. According to Ghazali, Deen is first and Nafs is second, Aql, Nasl and Mal. Fakhruddin Ar-Razi, writing 100 years after Al-Ghazali, put Nafs first. This is more logical for our discussion because we are talking about development. The subject of my talk, as you know, is the Islamic vision of development. And when we are talking about development, then of course the human self becomes very important, and the other 4, including Deen, Aql, Nasl and Mal, are ways to realize the well-being of the nafs. Nafs is, as I said, the end as well as the means of development, and so therefore it has to be given importance. Now, one thing that Ghazali uses in his Maqasid statement is the word safeguard or hifz. Do we only safeguard these 5 principles, or we try to enrich them and strengthen them? Of course, safeguard would be all right if we had reached the peak of our achievement. But we are way below that peak, and therefore it is important to talk in terms of enriching the maqasid or strengthening them. Allama Iqbal, one of the poet philosophers of the Indo-Pakistan subcontinent, and also very much respected in Iran because a lot of his poetry is in Persian. He writes, "Hastam agar mi ravam, gar naravam nistan." This is in Persian. It means that I am as long as I move, not moving, I am not. So unless we keep on moving forward, we cannot even maintain the same place. Even hifz or safeguard is difficult until we keep on moving. Because if we don't move, then we stagnate, and then later on we start declining. So it is important to keep on moving forward if we even want to maintain, to sustain these values. And as we can see, all these maqasid are not independent of each other. They are all interdependent. They are interrelated. In other words, if we want to lift one, we have to lift all the others too. Otherwise, the decline is going to start. All of them have to be enriched. Of course, we can at times give priority to one or two or some of these, but in a sense, all of them have to be enriched if we want to continue our march forward. This is, of course, in other words, the comprehensive picture of well-being. If we keep on marching only in the material direction, ultimately there will be problems and we'll start going down. According to Alfred Crocker, one of the philosophers of history, he says, if ethical foundation is lacking, the civilization collapses even when in other directions creative and intellectual forces of the strongest nature are at work. So the role of faith is extremely important, but of course in this way, the way we have put it here, it comes after nafs, because nafs needs reform, and it is deen or faith which helps it reform.